How many times have you sworn this time for real? That this time you'd be consistent, that you wouldn't quit. And yet, here you are again, right back at the starting line. How many projects have you let die because of a lack of discipline? How many dreams have you thrown overboard because you couldn't stay consistent? Enough. Let me be clear with you. It's not life. It's not time. It's you. You're the one who's allowed laziness and inconsistency to shape your future. But today, that ends. Look, if you only take action when you feel motivated, you'll never be truly disciplined, and you'll never succeed. The difference between those who achieve their goals and those who don't isn't talent or luck. It's the ability to do what needs to be done, even when they don't feel like it. Discipline isn't a gift. It's a habit, one you build through repetition and unshakable commitment. In this video, you're going to discover the 12 Stoic lessons that will force you to be more consistent. Because motivation is fragile, like a feather. But discipline? Discipline is something else. It's the Stoic's superpower. And if you stay with me until the end of the video, you'll walk away from this like a superhero, ready to achieve anything you set your mind to. So, are you ready to stop making excuses and finally change your life? Let's begin. But first, let me tell you the story of a man whose destiny changed because of one single decision: not giving up. Centuries ago, in a land consumed by war, where every sunrise could be your last, lived Theodoros, a young soldier from ancient Greece. He wasn't the strongest. He wasn't the fastest. He didn't have the natural talent of the great warriors. In fact, his trainers looked at him with indifference. You'll never be a real soldier, Theodoros. You just don't have the gift. He could have listened to them. He could have accepted his fate, settled for being just another soldier. But he didn't. Every morning, while his fellow soldiers were still asleep, he was already in the training arena. His body begged him to rest, his muscles burned, his breath was heavy. But he didn't stop. Sword up, attack, defend, spin, repeat, day after day. There were moments when his mind betrayed him. Why put in so much effort if I'll never be the best? What if I really don't have what it takes? But whenever that voice came up, Theodoros didn't argue with it. He didn't look for excuses. He just kept training. And then, war came. The enemy surged forward like an unstoppable wave, the sound of steel slicing through the air, the screams of the wounded, the smell of dust and blood. It was pure chaos. Theodoros watched his comrades fall, the same ones who had mocked him, the ones who said all his effort was a waste, the ones who never took training seriously. One by one, they were taken down, their strength drained fast, their movements clumsy. They had never prepared for this, but he was ready. His body already knew battle before it even began. Every movement had been practiced so many times he didn't have to think, only act. He didn't fight with fear, but with the confidence of someone who had repeated the same motion thousands of times. While others wore out, he pushed on. While others fell, he moved forward, strike after strike, without hesitation. When the battle ended and his army returned home victorious, one thing was clear. Theodoros, the soldier no one took seriously, had become a legend. Why? Because while others made excuses, he repeated. While others waited to feel ready, he was already training. And when war came, both his body and mind were already prepared. The Stoics taught this centuries ago. Marcus Aurelius said it plainly: perform every action as if it were the last of your life. Theodoros didn't wait for motivation. He didn't negotiate with his mind. He acted. No excuses. And now, tell me, how many times have you told yourself you'll start tomorrow? How many times have you let laziness win the battle in your life? If you want to be consistent, if you want to be unstoppable, you have to make that choice now. Not when you feel ready. Not when things are easy. Now. The story of Theodoros is a reflection of what you can achieve if you take control of your discipline. You don't need to be the most talented. You just need to be the most consistent. Are you ready to train your mind and build an unbreakable will? Let's dive into the first lesson. Before we continue, if this content is bringing you value, consider subscribing and becoming an exclusive member to unlock unique benefits. And tell us in the comments, what decision will you make today to start being more consistent in your life? Or simply write, I am Stoic. We want to grow together with you. 1. Stop debating with yourself. 5 more minutes and I'll get up. I'm tired today, I'll do it tomorrow. Once I finish this episode, I'll get to work. Monday, for sure, I'm starting. Sound familiar? Of course it does. These are the little phrases we all say to ourselves. Small negotiations with the mind that seem harmless, until they turn into a way of life. Tiny acts of surrender that, when added up, build a prison made of excuses. And here's the problem. Every time you give in, you get weaker. You don't notice it right away, but little by little, you're training your brain to beat you. It's like teaching a child that if they throw enough tantrums, they'll get what they want. Your mind learns that if it pushes hard enough, you'll cave. Let me paint you a classic scene. The alarm goes off. It's 6 in the morning. Half asleep, you reach out and turn it off. Your brain, that brilliant master of manipulation, starts negotiating. 5 more minutes and I'll get up. But you and I both know what happens next. 5 turns into 10, then 20. And suddenly you're rushing to avoid being late. And the worst part isn't being late. The worst part is that you've just taught your mind that it's in charge, not you. Now imagine applying that same excuse to everything. You skip your workout today because you're tired. Tomorrow you don't work on your project because you're not feeling inspired. The next day you eat junk because it's just one day. The following week you skip meditation because I don't have time. And next month you drop out of that online course because maybe it wasn't for me. And just like that, without even realizing it, you become the kind of person who always puts things off. Do you think Marcus Aurelius had the luxury of negotiating with his mind? Picture him, ruling the most powerful empire in the world, buried in urgent responsibilities, advisors waiting for decisions, enemies plotting in the shadows. Can you imagine him in his war tent saying, I won't write in my meditations today. I'll do it tomorrow? No, of course not. He understood that there are things you do simply because they need to be done, not because you feel like doing them. That's why he wrote, do what your nature requires of you. Don't be distracted by anything else. And science backs this up. Psychologist Daniel Kahneman talks about decision fatigue. Every time you make a decision, your brain uses energy. The more unnecessary choices you make during the day, the easier it becomes to give up. If every morning you decide whether to work out or not, to eat healthy or not, to study or not, you're wasting energy in a mental tug of war that could have been avoided. It's like having a leak in your willpower tank. Every negotiation is another hole. Imagine you decide to walk 10,000 steps a day. On the first day, you're motivated and you do it. On the second, you tell yourself, it's raining, it's okay to rest today. By the 5th day, you think, I won't notice a difference if I skip it once. And just like that, the habit starts to fall apart. It's like a crack in a dam. At first, it's barely visible, but every drop that slips through widens it until the whole thing collapses. Consistency doesn't break all at once. It unravels through tiny excuses. But here's the key. You can train yourself not to negotiate with your mind. First, go on autopilot. If every day you decide whether or not to work out, you've already lost. Every second you spend debating is time wasted. While you're stuck wondering whether to go to the gym, someone else already finished their workout. If instead of thinking about it, you just did it, you'd already be done. Set the rule. At this time, it gets done. Period. Second, use a mental countdown. 3, 2, 1, and you get up. 3, 2, 1, and you go for that walk. 3, 2, 1, and you open the document you've been avoiding. Don't give your brain time to start the debate. Action needs to be faster than the excuse. Third, have a power phrase. Something that snaps you out of that lazy mindset like, I decide, not my laziness. Repeat that in your mind every time you feel tempted to give in. Or try, I don't negotiate, or this is who I am now. Find your own and use it like a battle mantra. And don't worry, it's not about never resting or never taking a break. It's about you deciding when. Not your comfort. Planned rest is recovery. Rest out of weakness is surrender. Learn to tell the difference. Every time you force yourself to act without negotiating, you move one step closer to real discipline. Every time you give in, you step further away. 2. The language you use defines you. Imagine there's a screenwriter in your head, the one in charge of writing every scene of your life. If that screenwriter keeps making you say things like, "This is too hard," "I'm just not good at this," or "I'll probably fail," then they've already locked you into the role of the victim. And when you act like a victim, everything becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Your life turns into the story you keep telling yourself. Let me tell you about Viktor Frankl, an Austrian psychiatrist who lived through something most of us can't even begin to imagine. During World War II, Viktor Frankl endured the horrors of a concentration camp. Just think of the injustice, the fear, the despair. What a nightmare. He lost his wife, his parents, his brother. Everything was taken from him. His freedom, his profession, his dignity. It would have been easy to fall into complaints, to repeat over and over, "Why is this happening to me? There's no hope. Nothing I do will change my fate." But one day, he made a different decision. In the middle of absolute darkness, he found the one freedom no one could take away from him, the freedom to choose how to respond. He started observing his own mind. At first, like any human being, he felt the crushing weight of what he was living. He saw others collapse mentally before their bodies even gave out. But over time, something changed. Instead of sinking into despair, he began repeating phrases that gave him strength. "I can still choose how to live this moment. Suffering without meaning is unbearable, but I can give it purpose. I will survive so I can tell the world what happened here. I won't let hatred consume me. My mind is still mine, no matter what happens." Each day he chose to see not a number in every prisoner, but a human being. He chose to help whenever he could. He chose to keep the image of his wife alive in his mind, even without knowing if she was still alive. Sometimes, in the middle of the camp's brutality, I would imagine myself giving lectures about the psychology of suffering after the war, and that's what kept me alive. Wow, what a powerful mindset, right? Frankl refused to let horror dictate his mental state. His inner dialogue shifted from despair to determination. He knew he couldn't change his immediate fate, but he could choose how to face it. And when he was finally freed, he wrote Man's Search for Meaning, a book that has helped millions find purpose even in their deepest pain. That story always gives me chills, and it reminds me of someone else who thought the same way, Epictetus, of course. It's not things that upset us, but our judgments about them. Did you know your brain is shaped by the language you use? Like modeling clay, you can mold it into different forms. Neuroscience proves it. The words you repeat most often create neural pathways. Say something enough times, and your brain makes it your default reality. When you constantly say negative things, your brain treats them like instructions. "I'm a mess," your brain says. "Got it. Let's act accordingly." But what if you change the message? What if instead of saying, "I can't," you said, "I don't know how to do it yet, but I'll learn"? Your brain starts looking for solutions instead of excuses. Picture this. You've been working for years at a job you hate. You get home exhausted, not physically, but that soul-deep exhaustion that comes from doing something that doesn't matter to you. You've dreamed of writing your own novel. You have the story in your head. The characters speak to you. You've even written a few chapters late at night when insomnia hits. But something's holding you back. You start thinking, what if no one wants to read it? There are writers way better than me. I didn't study literature. What if I fail? And without realizing it, you start sabotaging yourself before even trying. Every day, fear feeds you the same script. And the worst part? You believe it. So time goes by. You keep jotting down notes on your phone, but you let your dreams slip through your fingers. The years go by, the ideas pile up, but the book never gets written. My friend, the difference between making it and not making it lies in how you speak to yourself. And yes, changing that habit takes time, but you can do it. Want to know how? The first thing you need to do is swap "I can't" for "I don't know how yet." And it's not enough to do it once. You have to say it every day, in every challenge, every moment your mind tries to stop you. Make it your automatic response. Train this new language like you'd train a muscle. Don't let the victim mindset take over. Force yourself to stay consistent. And you know what else works? Try talking to yourself in the third person. I know, it sounds weird, but it works. Instead of saying, "I don't know if I'll make it," say, "Charles can do this, he just needs to start," or, "Richard, of course you're capable." Studies from the University of Michigan show that this creates psychological distance and reduces anxiety. It gives you a clearer head to deal with problems. Also, speak like your future self, the version of you who's already succeeded. Do you think the successful version of you says, "I don't know if this is for me"? No way. Speak like the person you want to become. Ask yourself, what would the version of me who already made it say? And speak like that is starting now. Now you know. If you talk to yourself like a victim, you'll act like one. But if you start talking to yourself like someone strong, someone who keeps going no matter what, everything changes. Language doesn't just reflect who you are, it creates who you'll become. It's what will make the difference between staying where you are or becoming who you've always wanted to be. 3. Forge your willpower day by day. A lot of people think discipline is some kind of gift, like talent, that some are born with this superhuman ability to do what needs to be done, no excuses, as if the fairy godmother of discipline touched them at birth, as if it were some genetic superpower that lets them wake up early, crush their goals, and resist every temptation without effort. Picture it, a magic wand, a tap on the forehead, and voila! From the crib, they're up at 5 in the morning full of energy, working out with a smile, never procrastinating. Lucky them, right? But my friend, it doesn't work like that. Discipline is not some divine gift, nor a trait reserved for a chosen few. It's a muscle, and like any other muscle, if you don't train it, it withers. If you don't use it, it weakens, and if you abandon it, it disappears. Look in the mirror right now and think. Think about when you first learned to walk. Even if you don't remember it, there was a moment when you fell. Once, twice, 3 times. Your knees hit the floor. You probably cried. Your parents encouraged you, but the one who had to stand up was you. If you had thought, "Ugh, this isn't for me, I'll just crawl for the rest of my life," where would you be today? But no, of course not. You kept trying, because back then, there was no little voice in your head telling you it was too hard, that you should leave it for another day. You just kept going until it worked. You didn't negotiate with your baby brain. You didn't say, "When I'm ready, I'll walk." You just kept trying until you did. The Stoics understood that discipline doesn't come from emotions. It comes from what you do every single day. Seneca made it crystal clear when he said, "It's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." He practiced this in his daily routine. He woke up early, wrote, studied, worked on his character, and resisted unnecessary comfort. Not because he felt like it, but because he knew that repetition builds character. Every morning was a chance to strengthen his will. Every right decision was another brick in the foundation of his identity, and science backs this up. According to modern research on neuroplasticity, the brain is an incredibly adaptive system. What does that mean? It means every time you repeat an action, you strengthen a neural pathway. It's like a trail in the forest. At first, it's hard to walk through, but if you go through it every day, the path clears, the weeds disappear, the rocks get kicked aside. Eventually, that trail becomes a highway of habit, one you follow without even thinking. And here's something fascinating. Your brain doesn't care whether a habit is good or bad. It just reinforces whatever you repeat. That's why bad habits form so easily and good ones are so tough to build. You've trained your brain in one direction. Now you need to retrain it in another. So how do you train the muscle of discipline? Here are 3 strategies that work. First, do it even when you don't feel like it. Discipline doesn't show up before you act. It shows up after. If you sit down to write, if you start moving, if you take that first step, you'll see that motivation comes during the process. It's like starting a cold engine in winter. The first few seconds are hard, but once it's running, everything flows. Second, use the minimum task strategy. If you don't feel like working out, don't think about the whole routine. Just put your sneakers on. Once you've done that, the next step is easier. If you don't want to write, just open the document and type 1 sentence, and so on. James Clear calls this the 2-minute rule. Any habit can be broken down into a version that takes 2 minutes. Want to meditate? Sit down for 2 minutes. Want to read more? Read 1 page. The rest will follow naturally. Third, reward yourself, but the right way. Not with instant pleasure like eating a donut or wasting an hour on your phone, but with real pride and satisfaction. Cross the task off your list. Acknowledge your progress. Say out loud, "I won again today." Because every small act of discipline adds up. Keep a visual record. Put an X on the calendar for every day you follow through. Watching that streak grow becomes motivation all by itself. You won't want to break the chain. And here's a 4th strategy people rarely talk about. Surround yourself with disciplined people. Discipline is contagious. If you spend time with people who show up, who follow through, who don't negotiate with themselves, you'll start acting like that too. Your environment shapes your behavior more than you realize. My friend, think about who you want to be in the future. Visualize the version of yourself who's achieved everything you dream of today. How does that person live? What habits do they have? What choices do they make each day? How do they speak to themselves? What do they do when they don't feel like it? If you can see that clearly, discipline will follow naturally. Because when you know exactly where you're going, every effort stops feeling like a sacrifice and starts feeling like a step forward. Discipline isn't suffering when your purpose is clear. It's an investment. And only through consistency will you see the results sooner than you think. 4. Move forward without rushing. But don't stop. Let me ask you something. Are you one of those people who thinks, if I can't do it perfectly, I'd rather not do it at all? How many times have you told yourself, if I can't study for 3 hours today, I'll just wait till tomorrow? If I can't write 10 pages of my project, then there's no point in starting with 1. If I can't clean the whole house, I'll do it another day. If I can't spend an hour at the gym, I might as well stay home. And just like that, days go by, then months, and you're still stuck in the same place. You think moving slowly is the same as not moving at all, and that's a trap you need to escape. Now. You crave instant transformation, dramatic results, the before and after photo in just 1 week. But life doesn't work that way. Marcus Aurelius said it clearly. Don't waste what remains of your life on distractions and excuses. Because when you wait for the perfect moment to make progress, when you get frustrated because results aren't immediate, all you're really doing is wasting time. And once time is gone, it's gone for good. It's the one thing you can never get back. Let me tell you about a tortoise and a hare. Yeah, I know. It's the oldest fable in the book. But do you know why it's still relevant after thousands of years? Because it's true. That's life. Imagine you're running a marathon. 2 runners are in the race. One moves at a steady pace, not rushing but never stopping. The other bursts out of the gate at full speed, running like their life depends on it, until they burn out by kilometer 10. Who do you think reaches the finish line first? Not the one who ran faster at the start, the one who didn't stop, the one who respected their rhythm, the one who understood life isn't a sprint, it's a long-distance journey. We tend to think that only massive changes bring real results. But no, of course not. James Clear, in his book Atomic Habits, explains it perfectly. Improving just 1% each day might not seem like much, but after a year, you're 37 times better. The magic doesn't lie in dramatic transformation. It's in microscopic consistency. Malcolm Gladwell calls it the tipping point, that moment when, after many small repeated actions, everything clicks, and the change becomes unstoppable. Every step counts, even the ones that feel invisible, until one day you look back and realize everything's different. That's why the key is not to stop before that moment arrives. Think of how a hole forms in a rock. It's not caused by a violent blow, it's water, drop by drop, day after day for thousands of years. That rock, which seems indestructible, ends up surrendering to the persistence of water. You are the water. Your goal is the rock. And every small action is another drop. Let's say you decide to learn a new language. In the first month, you're super motivated. You study 2 hours a day, sign up for classes, watch movies in the original language. But because you don't see immediate results, you say, "This isn't working. It's too hard. I'm done." You're frustrated that after 30 days, you're not fluent yet. But really, did you expect to become a native speaker in a month? Now picture someone else who studies just 20 minutes a day, no skipping, for an entire year. Just 20 minutes. Less time than you probably spend watching random videos on your phone. Guess who ends up speaking the language? And who's still saying, "One day I'll get back to it"? Exactly. By the end of the year, that person will have racked up over 120 hours of practice. That's more than many intensive courses. And they did it without burning out, without giving up, just by being consistent. So, if you want to be consistent, remember this. Don't rush, but don't stop. What matters isn't speed, it's direction. You can move slowly, you can take breaks, but never ever move backward. Focus on today. Don't think about everything that's left, or the whole month, or the whole year. Just think about what you can do right now. One small action now is better than a big plan for when you have time. The perfect future doesn't exist. The only real moment is this one. And right now, you can take one step forward. Also, measure your progress by effort, not immediate results. Don't get discouraged if you don't see fast change. What matters is that you're adding one more step every day. Celebrate the fact that you showed up. Celebrate that you followed through. Celebrate that you didn't give in. That's real progress. And remember, don't beat yourself up for moving slow. The only true failure is to stop. If today you could only do half, that's okay. Tomorrow you keep going. What matters is never going backwards. Perfection is the enemy of progress. Better done than perfect. There's a Japanese proverb that says, "Nana korabi ya oki," fall 7 times, stand up 8. It's not about never falling. It's about not staying down. If you move forward a little each day, the time will come when you look back and realize how far you've come. You don't need giant leaps, just steady, firm steps. That's how discipline is built. That's how goals become real. Don't wait to feel ready. Don't chase perfection from the first try. Just keep moving forward, because consistency always wins, always, no exceptions. No. 5. Stay the course. Even when no one's watching. You know what separates those who actually accomplish something from those who just try? It's staying the course, even when no one's watching. Picture a forest at night. Dark. Still. The only sound is the wind through the trees. But if you listen closely, there's something else. A faint tick, 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 barely audible. It's a carpenter, alone in the shadows, carving a wooden sculpture with his chisel and hammer. No one's watching, no one's telling him he's doing a good job, no one's cheering him on. But he keeps going, strike after strike, even though the shape hasn't revealed itself yet. Hours later, he's still in the same spot. His hands ache, his body wants to stop. His mind whispers that maybe this is pointless. The wood still looks like a rough, shapeless block. But suddenly, when no one expects it, something appears. A curve in the wood, another strike, and it becomes more defined. One more and the sculpture starts to come alive. A final effort, and the masterpiece is revealed. Here's the truth. That last strike didn't create the sculpture. All the previous ones did. Every single blow, even the ones that seemed useless, added up. And the carpenter, even when he saw no progress, even when no one applauded, kept going. Because he knew something most people don't. The invisible process is what creates visible results. Consistency works the same way. No one's going to praise you for every silent effort you make. No one's clapping when you study while others are out partying, when you work out instead of resting, when you chip away at your dream instead of settling for less. No one will hand you a medal for the nights you stayed up late finishing that project. No one sees the hours you put in while everyone else was asleep. But when the moment comes, when everything clicks, that's when the world will notice. And they'll think it happened overnight. They'll think you were lucky, that you're gifted, that you were born with it. But you and I will know the truth. Let me tell you about my friend Laura. One day she decided to learn piano. She was pumped, ready to turn her life around. She bought a digital keyboard, signed up for online lessons, posted stories with quotes about chasing your dreams. At first, she was all in. She practiced daily, shared every little milestone, and the likes and the "you're amazing" comments pushed her to keep going. But weeks went by and the initial excitement faded. The compliments stopped. No one was asking about her piano journey. Her fingers kept stumbling on the same notes. Scales still sounded rough. The pieces she wanted to play felt impossible. And without even noticing, she began skipping days. First because she was tired, then because she had other things to do, and eventually, she just stopped. One day during a conversation, she told me straight up, "I mean, no one even asks anymore. Nobody comments when I post progress. It's just not fun anymore." And that's when it hit me. She wasn't practicing for her. She was doing it for the audience. Her motivation came from outside. And when the attention faded, so did her discipline. That's the problem with living for external validation. If your discipline depends on someone else recognizing it, it will never be real. If you only move forward when people are clapping, what happens when the applause stops? What happens when the algorithm stops pushing your content? What happens when your friends stop asking about your goals? Do you quit? The Stoics understood this well. Seneca said, "True character is revealed in private. Not when the world's watching, but when only you know what you're doing." What? You think Marcus Aurelius waited for applause every time he wrote something wise in Meditations? Excuse me, everyone. A little recognition, please. I just dropped an epic quote, of course not. He wrote because it was his duty, because it was part of his discipline, because he did it for himself, not for the crowd. He wrote in his war tent, far from Rome, with no audience, no likes, no instant validation. Just him, and his commitment to becoming better. So now, here comes the uncomfortable question. If no one were watching, would you still do what you're doing? If you couldn't post it on social media, would you still show up? If no one could see your progress, would you still be committed? Probably not. And I don't blame you. We live in a society obsessed with validation. We're in the era of instant approval, where every achievement needs to be documented, shared, and celebrated just to feel worth it. But I know you want to be more consistent. So next time you hesitate, try this simple routine. Keep a consistency journal. Not for the world, for you. Every day, write down what you did, no matter how small. It doesn't matter if you barely made progress. What matters is that you showed up. Write how you felt. Record the struggles. Track even your worst days. Because those are the ones that count the most. And here's the best part. Review it weekly. At the end of each week, sit down, read what you accomplished, and celebrate yourself. Sound silly? Try it. It's incredibly powerful. Because when you see your own effort on paper, even if no one else sees it, you realize something powerful. You are your own judge, your own fuel, and you don't need anyone else's validation. The most important approval is your own. The recognition that matters most is the one you give yourself when you look in the mirror. Also, create private victory rituals. When you achieve something difficult, do something just for you. Don't post it. Don't tell anyone. Keep it your secret. A special dinner, a walk in your favorite place, a quiet moment where you acknowledge your effort. These private wins build a rock-solid character that doesn't depend on an audience. Being consistent even when no one claps is what separates those who build something meaningful from those who give up. It's the difference between building something that lasts or just chasing your next dose of attention. So tell me, are you going to keep chiseling at that block of wood? Or are you going to drop the tool just because you can't see the results yet? Let us know in the comments, because we're here to support each other and grow together. 6. Install a new mental operating system. Imagine your brain is like an old computer. It's been running the same programs for years, outdated systems working in the background without you even realizing it. Programs that whisper, "I'll do it tomorrow. This is too hard. I need to feel motivated first." Corrupt files that load up every time you start your day. Mental viruses that slow down everything. And the worst part? They've been there so long, you don't even question whether they belong. Now, if your computer starts running slow, you don't throw it out. First, you check what background processes are draining your energy. You clean up the system, install new, more efficient programs. You update the software. You delete what no longer serves you. You optimize performance. Well, your brain works the same way. If you're struggling with consistency, if you give up the second things get hard, it's not because you're incapable. It's because you've been operating on mental software that doesn't support you. And the only way to change it is to install new programs. You have to reprogram yourself, from scratch, intentionally, with purpose. I say this because I've been there. I remember when I set out to write my first book, a project I had dreamed about for years. I knew I had to write every day, that every word mattered. But my brain had other ideas. I'd sit in front of the blank screen, ready to focus, and within minutes I was on my phone. Just 5 minutes and I'll get back to it. But 5 minutes turned into 20. Then an hour, or worse. I'd stare at the blinking cursor, writing nothing, my mind anywhere but on the page. I'd check unnecessary emails, read news I didn't care about, convince myself I was researching when really, I was just procrastinating. The worst part? I felt awful. Why can't I focus? Why is it so hard to just do what I know I need to do? I felt like a fraud, someone who talked about discipline but couldn't follow through. That's when, desperately searching for a way out, I came across an idea from James Clear, author of Atomic Habits. He shared how his brain at first resisted effort until he realized he needed to reprogram it. Instead of forcing change, he began associating effort with real satisfaction. Instead of seeing the work as a burden, he turned it into a game. Every time he made progress, he celebrated it, even if it was small. And here's what really stuck with me. He stopped punishing himself for not feeling motivated and focused on starting small. Not write 5 pages, just write 1 sentence. Not finish the chapter, just open the document. And something changed. Once the pressure was off, once it became manageable, the resistance faded. Sentences turned into paragraphs, paragraphs into pages. And before he knew it, he was writing regularly, not through willpower, but because he'd reprogrammed his mental associations. I'm telling you this because I don't want you to go through the same struggle I did. I don't want you fighting your own mind, wasting time feeling frustrated, thinking you lack discipline. If I had known this earlier, I would have saved myself hours of stress, guilt, and self-sabotage. So listen closely, my friend. You can reprogram your brain to stop resisting and start working for you. And here are 3 ways to do it. First, take small dopamine detoxes. You don't have to disappear from social media, but cut back on the time you spend there. Train your brain to crave less artificial stimulation, and you'll start to enjoy real effort again. Try this. Spend the first hour of your day without screens. Just you, your project, and silence. You'll be amazed how your focus starts coming back, like a muscle waking up again. Second, challenge comfort with tiny daily tests. Take a cold shower for a few seconds. Walk a different route. Write with your non-dominant hand. These small discomforts send a powerful message to your brain. We can do hard things, and it's okay. Every voluntary discomfort is a mental push-up, training your willpower. Third, reward the hard wins, not the easy ones. Stop celebrating tasks that took no effort. Instead, reward yourself every time you overcome a mental barrier. Real satisfaction comes from progress, not distraction. Finish that task you've been avoiding? Give yourself a real reward. But if you just scrolled your phone for an hour, don't reward that with more phone time. Link rewards to real effort. And here's a fourth powerful tactic. Change your environment. Your brain associates places with behaviors. If you always procrastinate at your desk, that space is now contaminated. Work somewhere else. Create a new space for your new mindset. Sometimes changing locations is more effective than any productivity hack. As Epictetus said, "He who controls his mind controls his life." Think about that. If you start changing how you think today, over time your brain will start taking that new path automatically, without resistance. And when you look back, you'll realize that what once felt impossible now feels natural. The software will have changed. The operating system will be new, and you will be someone else. 7. Embrace difficulty and become unstoppable. Comfort is slowly killing you. Not with pain, not with drama, just quietly, little by little, until one day you wake up and realize you don't even recognize the person in the mirror. You've become lazy, predictable, fragile. Picture this: 2 pills in front of you, one red, one blue. If you take the red pill, life goes on as it has. You chase comfort, you avoid anything difficult, you take the easy path. No effort, but no growth either. Your comfort zone becomes your prison. Every day looks the same, safe, but empty. Tempting, right? Now, if you take the blue pill, that's a whole different story. It means you choose discomfort. You get up early when your body begs for 5 more minutes. You train when you least feel like it. You face the hard stuff instead of dodging it. You seek out situations that challenge you, that make you nervous, that make you doubt yourself. It won't be easy, not even close. But here's the key: you'll get stronger. Every time you choose discomfort, you're investing in a version of yourself that can handle anything. Most people take the red pill without even realizing it. They run from effort. They quit when things get hard. They avoid tough conversations. They postpone important decisions. They'd rather live in the illusion of safety than the reality of growth. But a few, just a few, take the blue one. They know discomfort is the price of progress, and they're willing to pay it over and over again without complaint. Wim Hof is living proof of this. He swims under ice in the Arctic, ran a marathon barefoot in the desert, and climbed Mount Everest in shorts. Every day, extreme cold pushes him to the limit. His body begs for warmth. The conditions stretch him to the edge, but he keeps going. His philosophy is simple: train your mind and body to accept discomfort. He realized that the more you master discomfort, the stronger you become. And he's proven, scientifically, that we can control our autonomic nervous system, that we can choose how we respond to extreme stress. This isn't just philosophy. It's biology in action. And it's not just about extreme physical challenges. It's about choosing difficulty in your daily life. It's about not always taking the shortcut, the easy way, the comfortable route. The Stoics knew this. Seneca summed it up in one line: "Sweet is the life without fear in the midst of danger." When you get used to hard things, nothing scares you. When you stop running from discomfort, life stops controlling you. You become someone circumstances can't break, because you've already been through worse on purpose. And it's not just ancient wisdom. Modern science confirms this again and again. David Sinclair, a leading researcher on longevity, has shown that exposing the body to small stressors, cold, fasting, discomfort, strengthens both the mind and the body. In other words, the more uncomfortable we are, the more resilient we become. It's the concept of hormesis, small doses of stress that make us stronger, like vaccines for the soul. Think about it from an evolutionary point of view. For thousands of years, our ancestors lived in constant discomfort. Cold, heat, hunger, danger. Their bodies and minds adapted. But now we live in perfectly climate-controlled homes, with food available 24/7, and almost no real challenge. And our bodies, built for adversity, are atrophying. Now imagine this. What if every day you did something uncomfortable instead of avoiding it? Let's say you want to improve your flexibility, but every time you stretch, it hurts and you think, ugh, this sucks. I'll try tomorrow. But tomorrow never comes. Discomfort wins. And you don't just lose flexibility. You lose your ability to do hard things. Your brain learns that pain means surrender. But what if you change the perspective? What if instead of seeing pain as an obstacle, you saw it as part of the process? Instead of saying, this is so hard, you said, every second I hold on, I'm getting stronger. That's when everything changes. Pain becomes feedback, data, the price of entry into the club of extraordinary people. And let me be clear, I'm not talking about suffering for the sake of suffering. This isn't about punishment or meaningless struggle. It's about strategically choosing the discomfort that helps you grow. It's about exposing yourself to controlled challenges that expand your capacity. So let's do this together. Today, you're going to start training your mind to choose discomfort. You don't need to run a marathon or dive into a frozen lake. Start small, but start with intention. For example, the next time you feel too lazy to get off the couch and do something productive, count down in your head, 3, 2, 1, go. No thinking, no negotiating, just move. That single moment, that one decision to act even when it's uncomfortable, is a win. A vote for your future self, a decision for who you want to become over who you are right now. Try this too. Take a cold shower every morning, just 30 seconds. Your body will resist, your mind will scream. But when you step out, you'll have won a mental battle before the day even begins. You'll have proof that you can do hard things, and that momentum will carry into everything else. And remember this, discomfort is like investing in a growth fund. You don't see results immediately. But every time you choose effort over ease, you're building strength. You're growing character capital. And that capital earns compound interest. Every tough experience you face makes the next one easier to handle. Here's something even more powerful. Change the way you speak to yourself. Instead of saying, this is too hard, say, this is part of the process. Instead of, I can't take it anymore, say, I endure. I keep going. It may sound silly, but the words you use shape your reality. This is making me stronger. This is temporary, but what I'm building is permanent. I've overcome worse than this. And apply this to every area where you normally seek comfort. Got an uncomfortable conversation you've been avoiding? That's your chance. A project that intimidates you? Perfect. Afraid of looking stupid trying something new? Even better. Every one of those situations is an invitation to choose the blue pill. Every time you choose that pill, every time you face discomfort and move forward anyway, you're becoming someone who doesn't stop. And when the moment of truth comes, when life really tests you, your mind and body will already be ready, because you'll have built a track record of doing hard things. And that record is more powerful than any external motivation. But you only get there by forcing yourself to stay consistent. Discomfort is not the enemy. It's the gym where character is built. And you get to decide whether you walk through the door or keep chasing comfort. So, what's it going to be? 8. Find your reason for being, or live without direction. There are people who go through their entire lives on autopilot, doing what they're supposed to do, but never really knowing why. They wake up, go to work, meet their obligations, and at the end of the day wonder why they feel empty. It's not that they're lazy. It's not that they don't try. It's that they're running in a direction they never consciously chose. My friend, I'm going to ask you some questions, but fair warning, they're not easy to answer. Why do you get up every morning? What keeps you going when everything gets hard? If you had to explain to a 10-year-old why you do what you do, could you give them an answer you're proud of? If you don't have a clear answer right now, don't worry. But understand this: the difference between giving up and pushing through is purpose. If you don't know why you're doing something, every step will feel heavy. But when your why is strong, everything changes. Fatigue becomes manageable. Obstacles turn into interesting challenges. Sacrifice stops feeling like sacrifice. Let me share a story that captures this perfectly. 3 bricklayers were working on the same construction site, under the same blazing sun, laying bricks one after another. From the outside, they were doing the exact same job. Same sweat, same exhaustion, earning about the same pay. But when someone asked them what they were building, their answers were completely different. The first, without even looking up, said with resignation, "I'm laying bricks." For him, it was just a repetitive task, another obligation to get through the day. A job he endured just to make it to payday. A chore, nothing more. The second, with a little more interest, answered, "I'm building a wall." He knew his work had a purpose, but his vision stopped at the immediate structure. He saw the result, but not the greater impact. But the third, he looked up with steady eyes and a spark of pride, smiled and said, "I'm building a cathedral. I might never see it finished, but every brick I lay is part of something that will outlive me." Every brick was an act of faith. Every day, a contribution to something greater than himself. For him, work wasn't just work. It was legacy. See the difference? Same job, same effort, same heat, same fatigue, same paycheck. But 3 completely different visions of purpose. So here's the real question. When you look at your life, are you laying bricks without meaning, building walls without direction, or are you building your cathedral? Is every day just about surviving, or are you creating something that will matter long after you're gone? Don't get this wrong. It's not about having some grand, world-changing mission. It's about clarity. It's about knowing why you do what you do. Maybe it's building a business that supports your family. Maybe it's raising kids to be kind, good humans. Maybe it's mastering a craft. What matters is that it's yours, that it's conscious, that it's chosen. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "He who lives in harmony with himself lives in harmony with the universe." He knew exactly what his purpose was: to serve the empire with wisdom, discipline, and justice. He didn't chase glory. He didn't act from ego. His purpose guided him. That's why he was able to lead during wars, plagues, and betrayal, without straying from his values. He faced constant chaos, but never lost his direction, because he knew who he was and why he was there. And it's the same with the most impactful people throughout history. Simon Sinek, author of Start With Why, explains that truly inspiring leaders don't focus on what they do or how they do it. They start with why. He studied Martin Luther King Jr., Steve Jobs, the Wright brothers, and found they all had one thing in common. They had a clear reason that fueled everything they did. People didn't follow them for what they built. They followed them for what they believed. Think about it. Most people obsess over the what job to take, what business to start, what skills to learn. Others focus on the how to be more productive, how to succeed faster. But all of that is surface level if the why is missing. Because when things get hard, when frustration hits, when failure comes, only a clear purpose will keep you going. The what and how are strategies. The why is the reason you keep fighting when strategies fail. And here's the thing, your why can evolve. It's not something you discover once and that's it. It's something you nurture, refine, and deepen over time. What drove you at 20 might not be enough at 40, and that's okay. What matters is that you keep asking, keep digging, keep connecting with what truly moves you. So, how do you find your why? Let's figure it out together. Close your eyes for a second and imagine this. If money were no longer a concern, if everything was taken care of, what would you choose to do with your life? What would get you out of bed every morning? And don't say travel or relax. After 6 months of that, then what? When the novelty wears off, What would you build? What would you create? What would you contribute? Now think of a time you felt deeply fulfilled, when you lost track of time doing something you loved. What were you doing? Who were you doing it for? What made that moment feel right? Was it the challenge? Was it helping someone? Was it creating something meaningful? Here's another one. If you had just 1 year to live, what would you stop doing immediately? What would you start doing instead? What would you want people to remember about you? And one more. What problems make you angry? What injustices can't you ignore? What truly frustrates you about the world? Often, your purpose is hidden in your anger. What you can't stand to see might be exactly what you're here to change. Don't worry about finding the perfect answer. Just follow the thread of what really moves you. Because once you get clear on your why, consistency is no longer an issue. It's no longer about fleeting motivation. It's about commitment to something that actually matters. Discipline becomes automatic because you're no longer forcing yourself to do something you don't want. You're choosing to do what's necessary to become the person you're meant to be. And when you find it, write it down. Put it somewhere you can see it every day. Let it be your compass when you feel lost. Let it be your fuel when you're tired. Let it anchor you when storms try to push you off course. So tell me, my friend, have you found your why? Drop it in the comments, and if not, use these questions to start searching for it. Because when you know your why and stay consistent, nothing can stop you. Discipline stops being a struggle and becomes the path toward what you truly want to build. And every day, every action, every decision becomes another brick in your cathedral. 9. Rule your hours, or they will rule you. Time is the one resource you can't buy, trade, or recover. Once it's gone forever. There's no bank account to store it in, no time machine to get it back. And yet, most people treat it like it's infinite, like there's always more of it, like tomorrow is guaranteed. Tick-tock, tick-tock, hear that? It's the sound of time slipping away. Every second that passes will never return. Every minute you waste is a minute you'll never get back. While you read this, 60 seconds have already disappeared. Did you use them well? Or did they just slip through your fingers? You may love or hate Elon Musk, but one thing is undeniable. He manages to run multiple companies at once. Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, the Boring Company. Long before becoming a symbol of innovation, he had one golden rule. Don't waste a single minute. While others drifted through their days, he structured his into 5-minute blocks. Every slice of time had a purpose. Meetings, design, engineering, strategy. He worked, trained, studied, improved, and still found time to evolve. He didn't wait for time to appear. He treated it as his most precious asset. Because it is. It's literally your life, measured in hours. And I'm not saying you should be like Elon Musk, but I am saying, treat your time with the same respect you'd give to €1,000,000, because it's worth even more than that. Time is your life. The Stoics saw time the same way Seneca wrote, "While you waste time hesitating, life is moving forward." His message was clear. Every wasted moment is one step closer to death without having truly lived. He wrote an entire book on this, on the shortness of life, where he argued that life isn't short, we just waste most of it. Consistency isn't just doing the right things, it's doing them every day without letting time slip through your hands. It's understanding that every day you don't move forward is a day you'll never get back. Let me paint a picture you probably know well. You have the idea to write a book, you're passionate about it. You've got 1,000 ideas spinning in your mind. Every time you talk about it, your friends encourage you. Your partner tells you to go for it. Even you get excited thinking about it. But when it's time to sit down and write, something always comes up. You check your email. Then you watch a quick video, which turns into 5. Then you spend an hour aimlessly scrolling. Then you decide you need a coffee to focus. And while you're making it, you check your phone again. And by the time you're ready to write, it's too late. So you say, tomorrow I'll start for real. Then a month passes, a year, 5 years, You've got scattered notes, random chapters, but the book is still only in your head. And when you see someone else publish their book, you think, that could have been me. But here's the truth. The difference between you and them isn't talent. It's not luck. It's not that they had more time. It's that they took control of their time. And you let yours slip away. They said no to 1,000 distractions. You said yes to all of them. And it's not just about writing. It's that business you never started, that language you never learned, that relationship you let fade because you didn't make time, that version of yourself you could have been, but didn't become, all because you traded your hours for comfort, distraction, and excuses. If you really want to take control of your life, you have to start by taking control of your time, consistently. So how do you do it? First, plan your day the night before. If you wake up without a clear plan, you'll lose time just deciding what to do. Decision fatigue is real. Every decision you make drains your willpower. That's why Steve Jobs wore the same outfit every day. One less decision. Take 5 minutes before bed to map out tomorrow. If you want to write, don't leave it to chance. Make it a fixed appointment, non-negotiable. Treat it with the same respect you'd give a meeting with your boss. Because this isn't just work, it's a meeting with your future self. And here's the key: prioritize based on importance, not urgency. Urgent things scream, important things whisper. Email is urgent. Your book is important. Notifications are urgent. Your health is important. Most people spend their days reacting to urgency and never get to what truly matters. Then one day they look back and realize they built everyone else's dream, but not their own. Second, batch similar tasks into blocks. Jumping from one thing to another burns mental energy like crazy. Studies show that task switching can reduce productivity by up to 40%. Every switch forces your brain to recalibrate. It's like restarting a car over and over instead of keeping it running. So block your time. If you're writing, just write. If you're researching, just research. Don't mix everything, or you'll do a bit of everything and finish nothing. Cal Newport calls this deep work. Those uninterrupted blocks where you produce your best work, create real value, and make actual progress. Third, protect distraction-free time, seriously. Put your phone in another room, close all your tabs, shut down social media, create a space where only the task exists, and don't give me the "what if something urgent happens" excuse. For thousands of years, humanity survived without instant notifications. You'll be fine. Don't say, "I'll write for an hour," if every 5 minutes you're checking who texted. Focus is a superpower in a noisy world. And when you learn to control it, consistency becomes so much easier. Because showing up isn't enough. You have to show up with your full attention, your full energy, your full presence. And here's one more strategy that changes everything. Track your time for 1 week. Be brutally honest. Write down exactly how you spend each hour. You'll be shocked. You think you don't have time, but you'll find you're spending 2 hours a day on social media, another hour watching shows you don't even love, and more hours doing things you can't even remember. That's 4 hours. 4 hours you could be putting into your book, your business, your health, your growth. Here's the uncomfortable truth. We all have the same time. Elon Musk has 24 hours. So do you. The difference isn't time available. It's how you use it. It's the intention behind every hour. Every time you give your time to something that doesn't move you closer to what you want, you're giving up control of your life. And if you don't choose how to spend your time, someone else will. Your boss will choose. Social media will choose. Netflix will choose. Other people's expectations will choose. And you'll become a spectator in your own life, instead of the protagonist. So, tell me, are you going to keep letting the clock run without direction? Or are you going to grab the reins and turn every minute into a step toward your best self? Because time is passing, whether you realize it or not. The real question is, what will you build with it? 10. Celebrate progress to maintain momentum. Your brain is wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. It's a survival mechanism that has kept us alive for millions of years. But in today's world, that same mechanism can sabotage you. Because if every effort only brings more effort, with no moment of satisfaction, eventually your brain will rebel. And it's right. You can't live in constant sacrifice mode without rewards. You're not a machine. Imagine you're facing a mountain of tasks. Maybe it's an important job, a personal project, or something you've been putting off for way too long. At first, you've got energy and motivation, but as you go on, you start to lose focus. Your mind drifts to anything else. Your phone, a sudden idea. Even the sound of the fridge seems more interesting than what's in front of you. You feel like the effort is too much and that maybe you deserve a break, or rather, an excuse to stop. Your brain starts to negotiate. You've done enough for today, haven't you? No one will notice if you stop now. This can wait until tomorrow. This used to happen to me all the time. I remember when I was preparing for a tough professional certification, one of those that could shape your future, I found it incredibly hard to focus. My brain found any excuse to do something else. Check my phone, stare out the window, reorganize the desk, anything to avoid pushing forward. It felt like my mind was actively conspiring against my own goals, and the frustrating part was, I knew how important it was, but I still couldn't stay focused. So I found a solution. I set small goals and rewarded myself when I achieved them. If I finished a topic, I'd watch an episode of my favorite show. If I completed a whole module, I'd go for a walk in my favorite park. And even though it seemed minor, suddenly studying stopped feeling like a battle. It wasn't just about obligation anymore. It became a system of small wins that made the process much more manageable. Each session had a beginning, a middle, and a satisfying end. It wasn't an endless marathon anymore. It was a series of sprints with finish lines you could actually celebrate. And this isn't just a personal trick. It's backed by science. B.J. Fogg, an expert in habit formation, explains that micro-rewards reinforce desired behavior and help habits stick. Our brain needs to recognize small wins in order to stay motivated. Because if everything feels like an endless race with no breaks, we eventually quit. The brain releases dopamine when it anticipates a reward. That dopamine is the fuel of motivation. Without it, we simply don't have the energy to continue. Charles Duhigg, in The Power of Habit, explains the cycle. Cue, routine, reward. Most of us focus only on the routine, the habit we want to build, but ignore the reward. And without a reward, the habit doesn't stick. It's like trying to train a dog without ever giving it a treat. Eventually, it stops obeying. Even Epictetus understood that comfort and pleasure can be enemies of greatness if you let them take over. But what if you use them wisely? Then they can become allies. It's not about punishing yourself and suffering in the name of discipline. It's not about mental flagellation. It's not about turning your life into a joyless Spartan training camp. It's about using what motivates you strategically to reinforce your consistency without sabotaging it. Sustainable discipline includes strategic enjoyment. If you want to stay consistent without burning out, start using strategic rewards. But not just any reward. I'll reward myself with a 3-hour nap because I worked for 5 minutes doesn't cut it. The key is to choose small rewards that genuinely motivate you without undermining your effort. They have to be proportional. They have to be something you truly enjoy. And they have to come after the effort, not before. For example, if you finish that painfully boring report, treat yourself to a short video of something you love. But short, we know how that goes. If you power through a tough study session, give yourself your favorite snack. But careful, it's a reward. Not an excuse to eat the whole pantry, or take a relaxing bath. Call that friend who always makes you laugh. Or take 30 minutes to do absolutely nothing, guilt-free. Here's something important. The reward doesn't have to be material. Sometimes acknowledgement is enough. Telling yourself, I did it. I showed up, marking it off your calendar. Sharing the win with someone. The simple act of recognizing the achievement activates the same reward circuits in your brain. You can also use a habit calendar. Mark each day you complete your task. and make it a personal challenge. Jerry Seinfeld used this technique to write jokes every day. He called it "Don't Break the Chain," and it worked so well that he became one of the most successful comedians in history. It's like playing a video game where you don't want to lose your streak. Can you imagine looking at a full week of checked boxes and thinking, "Hey, it doesn't matter if I miss today"? No way. You'll be so hooked on your progress that you'll do whatever it takes to keep the streak alive. Seeing that chain of X's grow creates visual momentum. It's tangible proof of your commitment, and breaking it feels like throwing all that effort away. And if you need an extra push, make a bet with your future self. If you stick to your routine for a month, reward yourself with something meaningful. A massage, a special dinner, that book you've been wanting, that tool that would make your work easier. Something significant that makes the sustained effort worth it. But be careful of a common trap. Don't use rewards that sabotage your goal. If you're trying to eat healthy, don't reward yourself with junk food. If you're trying to reduce screen time, don't reward yourself with more screen time. Choose rewards that align with the person you want to become, not with the one you're trying to leave behind. And one last tip. At the end of each day, write down 3 things you accomplished, no matter how small. It doesn't matter if they were just tiny steps. Write them down. On a rough day when you feel like you're not getting anywhere, open that journal. You'll see page after page of proof that yes, you are making progress. Yes, you can do it. Yes, you are getting there. My friend, if you make it sustainable, consistency becomes your greatest ally. It's about finding a way to make your effort feel worth it every single day. It's not about suffering. It's about building a life where effort and reward are in balance, where you work hard but also celebrate, where you push yourself but also care for yourself. Because we already have enough things in life to suffer through, so why not give ourselves a few small pleasures along the way? Life's too short to live it without joy, and consistency is much easier when the path includes moments you actually enjoy. 11. Finish what you start or you'll never trust yourself. There is a silent epidemic that is destroying dreams all around the world. It's not a physical disease. It's not an economic crisis. It's something far more insidious, the inability to finish what we start. We live in the age of half-done things, abandoned projects, unfinished books, online courses stuck at 30%, relationships left halfway, important conversations we never had, promises we never kept. My friend, have you noticed how many times you've left things half-finished? Tasks, projects, dreams. The things you start with excitement. You drop at the first obstacle. Awful, isn't it? It's as if you had a graveyard of intentions in your life. Every abandoned project is a tombstone that says, "Here lies something that could have been." Imagine those unfinished things staring at you from a distance as if they were saying, "Are you really going to leave me here forgotten?" And the worst part is that when you lack consistency, all those tasks pile up like a weight that never lets you move forward. They become constant reminders of your failures, of the times you said you'd do something and didn't, of broken promises, especially the ones you made to yourself. What you could have achieved slips away because you weren't consistent. And every time you abandon something, you don't just lose the outcome. You lose something even more valuable. You lose trust in yourself. Your word, even the one you give yourself, loses its value. And when your own mind stops believing you, you're finished. But you know what? You've got no excuses. If you want inspiration, look at him. Captain Tom Moore, a 100-year-old man, walked over 100 laps in his garden to raise millions for the healthcare system during the pandemic. 100 years old. With a walker, with all the limitations of his age. In the middle of a global crisis while most people his age were locked away in fear. And he did it without giving up for a single day, without leaving anything half done. This man proved that age or circumstances don't stop you if you're clear about what you want. He walked every day, rain or shine, with pain or without it, until he completed his goal, and when he did, he kept going. Because that's the mindset of someone who finishes what they start. Dare to compare yourself to him. Honestly, it doesn't matter whether you're just starting out or you've been waiting to begin for a long time. What matters is that you keep going until the end. And if a 100-year-old man can do it, what's your excuse? Think about it. How many projects do you currently have half done? How many promises have you made and never fulfilled? How many times have you said, "This time for real," only to give up 2 weeks later? Each one of those is a wound to your self-esteem, a crack in your confidence, a message to your subconscious that you can't trust yourself. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, said, "Do every act as though it were the last of your life." Imagine Marcus Aurelius staring at his meditations, tired of writing, deciding to stop halfway through because he had other things to do that would never have happened. He was ruling an empire, fighting wars, facing plagues, dealing with betrayal. And still, every night, he wrote. Because he understood that personal integrity is not negotiable. He knew that true greatness lies in not leaving anything incomplete, in seeing each action as something that adds to your purpose, with no excuses. Why? Because when you leave things half-finished, you strip trust from yourself. It's simple math. Every promise fulfilled equals +1 confidence. Every broken promise equals -1 confidence. So right now, what's your score? And it's not just about confidence, it's about identity. Every time you finish something, you're voting for the kind of person you are. I am someone who finishes what they start. Every time you quit, you're also casting a vote. I am someone who gives up when things get hard. Your identity is built with those votes, action by action. Tim Grover, coach to Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, is clear about this. Mental closure is the key. For him, winning isn't just about talent, it's about finishing what you start, completing things all the way to the final step, no matter how difficult. He coached the best. And what made them the best wasn't just their natural talent, it was their obsession with finishing. Kobe would practice until he hit 1,000 shots, not 999 to 1,000. Michael Jordan wouldn't leave the gym until he had fully mastered a move, not almost, fully. Confidence isn't built on pretty words, it's built on consistent action. If you don't finish what you start, how will you trust yourself when things really get tough? When the crucial moment comes, your history of quitting will whisper, "You'll probably give up on this too." And that doubt will paralyze you. And here's another uncomfortable truth. The world only rewards finished projects. No one pays for half-done work. No one admires eternal drafts. No one remembers the almosts. History is full of people who finished difficult things, not those who started many. So how do you do it? First, commit publicly. Tell someone, a friend, a partner, or even your social media, what you're going to do. Who doesn't feel afraid to fail after making a public declaration? That pressure might scare you, yes, but it will also push you to keep going. Social accountability is real. Your brain wants to be consistent with the image it projects. If you tell the world you'll do something, your ego is at stake. And sometimes, ego is a stronger motivator than discipline. The key is knowing that the world is expecting your results, and that will push you to keep going. But be careful. Don't announce a fantasy. Don't say, "I'm going to be a millionaire," or "I'll write a novel." Say, "I'm going to write 500 words a day for 100 days. Specific, measurable, verifiable. That's the difference between an empty announcement and a real commitment. Second, when you feel like giving up, and trust me, you will, remind yourself why you started. We already worked on that why earlier, remember? Now with that reason clear in your mind, every time the path gets tough, return to your motivation. Are you really going to give it all up for a moment of discomfort? Or will you fight for the future you desire? Write your why on a piece of paper and stick it somewhere visible. When your motivation weakens, when excuses start to sound reasonable, read that note. Reconnect with the version of yourself that decided to start. Remember what was at stake. And here's a powerful trick. Visualize the regret. Don't just imagine how you'll feel when you finish. Imagine how you'll feel in 6 months if you quit now. That feeling of, "I could have done it," that weight of knowing you gave up again. Sometimes the fear of regret is more motivating than the promise of a reward. Third, break your goal into mini goals. Don't be scared by how big the mountain looks. If you stare at the whole thing, it can be discouraging. But if you divide it into small steps, the climb becomes manageable. Don't think, write a book. Think, write a page. Don't think, lose 20 kilos. Think, go to the gym today. Don't think, build $1 million business. Think, make one sale this week. If your goal is to write a book, start with a couple of pages per day. If you want to get fit, start with 10 minutes of exercise and build up. Every small step is one step closer to your goal, and every small step completed is further proof that you're someone who finishes what they start. And there's a fourth strategy that changes everything. Create closing rituals. When you finish something, no matter how small, mark it. Celebrate it. Say out loud, "I finished this." Cross it off with satisfaction. Your brain needs to recognize endings as much as it does beginnings. Endings close cycles. Endings bring satisfaction. Endings train you to seek more completions. Also, keep a completed victories log. Not of things you started, of things you finished. That's your real track record. That's your true identity. And when you doubt yourself, open that log and look at the evidence. You're someone who finishes things. Don't forget, what you start, you finish. If you commit to finishing everything you begin, there's no goal that can escape you. Because life isn't about how much you start. It's about how much you finish. And the difference between successful people and the rest isn't talent. It's not luck. It's not more time. It's the ability to finish what they start. So tell me, what do you have unfinished right now? And what are you going to finish today? Tell us in the comments. It's time to close those cycles and move forward. 12. The challenge that will transform you. 100 days of war against yourself. If you've made it this far, let me tell you something. You're no longer the same person who started this video. You've absorbed 11 lessons of pure Stoicism. You've seen examples of people who chose discipline over comfort. You've learned strategies to build consistency. But none of that matters if you don't apply it. Knowledge without action is just entertainment. And you didn't come here to be entertained. You came here to change. Yes, you heard right, 100 days. 100 days to change everything. You've probably heard of the 75 Hard Challenge, right? A test of discipline and endurance. A brutal challenge where thousands have failed, and only a few have triumphed. But today, I'm going to propose something even greater. 100 days. There's no room for excuses. None. Zero. 100 days to commit to your life, to put everything we've talked about into practice, to make consistency your daily habit. Because, my friend, in those 100 days, whatever you decide to do, and whatever you decide not to leave unfinished, can completely transform who you are and what you achieve. It's not an exaggeration, it's pure math. 100 days of consistent action can do more for you than years of vague intentions. It's not a trick, and it's not magic. It's discipline, it's consistency. It's doing it even when you don't feel like it. It's choosing every single day who you want to be, instead of settling for who you are right now. It's declaring war on your mediocre self, and fighting that war every day for 100 consecutive days. If you commit to these 100 days, believe me, you'll become unrecognizable. Your family will look at you differently. Your friends will ask what changed. And you'll know the answer. You chose to become someone else. But let me be brutally honest with you. This won't be easy. In fact, it will be one of the hardest things you've ever done. There will be days when your body begs you to stop. Days when your mind tells you one day off won't hurt. Days when people around you call you obsessive, extreme, or crazy. And those will be the days that matter most. Let me tell you about a YouTuber named Matt D'Avella, who decided to adopt minimalism and build extreme habits over the course of 100 days. During that time, he faced countless obstacles. People around him thought he was crazy. They said his body needed rest, that no human could sustain that routine. His friends planned outings he couldn't attend. His girlfriend at first couldn't understand why he was so inflexible. There were moments when the exhaustion was so deep that he doubted he could go on. But Matt, do you know what he did? He didn't stop. In every moment of doubt, in every minute of pain, he reflected on his why, on the reason he had started. And my friend, he made it. At the end of those 100 days, he had completely transformed his life and his content. He had built an audience of millions inspired by his transformation. A challenge that seemed impossible to many, but he did it. And for one reason, he stayed consistent. He didn't quit. He became living proof that 100 days can change an entire life. And it's not just him. There are thousands of stories. People who lost 30 kilos, people who wrote their first book, people who built businesses, healed relationships, overcame addictions, all in 100 days of unbreakable commitment. Seneca said, "Consistency in small things leads to success in great ones." Do you know what that means? It means it's not about doing something spectacular once in a while. It's about the daily action. Doing what you have to do every day, even when you don't feel like it, even when doubt takes over, even when it rains, even when you're sick, even when you have legitimate reasons to stop. Because the reasons will always be there. The question is, will you accept them? Only consistency takes you to greatness. Maybe you're wondering, why 100 days? It's not an arbitrary number. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, explains that 100-day challenges are one of the best ways to consolidate a habit. Neuroscience shows that it takes between 60 and 90 days for a behavior to become automatic. 100 days gives you enough margin to break through the initial resistance, overcome the midway plateau, and reach the other side as a completely different person. 100 days of focus, 100 days of action, 100 days of small steps, and before you know it, your life will be completely different. But this only happens through consistency, not occasional bursts of intensity, but relentless consistency. And here's the beautiful and terrifying part. In 100 days, you won't just change what you do, you'll change who you are. Your identity will be rebuilt. Because after doing something for 100 straight days, you can no longer say, "I'm not that kind of person." You are. Actions create identity, and 100 days of consistent action forge an unshakable identity. Now imagine you're in a personal situation where you need to change something in your life. Maybe you feel stuck, tired of routine, like you're not moving forward. You have big dreams, but you always find excuses not to start. You look at your life and see unrealized potential, unfulfilled promises, a version of yourself you know could exist but you've never met today. You're going to take control. How can you complete these 100 days with no excuses? First, choose one simple but powerful action. It doesn't have to be complicated, just something that if done every day brings you closer to your goals. But it has to be specific. Not, be healthier, that's vague. Walk 10,000 steps a day is specific, not, work on my project. Write 500 words every day. Is specific. Specificity eliminates ambiguity, and ambiguity is where commitments go to die. Want to read more? Read 1 chapter a day. Want to get healthier? Do a short daily workout? Want to learn a skill? Practice for 30 minutes every day without fail. Want to build a business? Do one sales or marketing action every day. Make it constant. Make it part of your routine. And here's something crucial. Choose something you can control 100%. Not get 1 client a day. That depends on others. But reach out to 10 prospects a day. That depends only on you. Control what's controllable. The results will come, but your commitment must be to the actions, not the outcomes. Second, keep a record. This will help you visualize your progress and stay motivated. It can be as simple as marking an X on a calendar every day you complete your task. Use a big, satisfying X. Make it physical, not digital. There's something about marking paper that makes the commitment real. As you see those marked days grow, you'll feel your progress, and that feeling is unstoppable. Each X is evidence. Each line of X's is momentum. And when you reach day 50, when you see that unbroken chain, breaking it will feel like betraying yourself, and record more than just the action. Write how you feel. Day 10, when it's still easy. Day 30, when fatigue starts. Day 50, when the novelty is gone. Day 70, when you feel unstoppable. Day 90, when you know you've made it. That record will become a treasure, proof of your transformation. And in the future, when you face new challenges, you'll look back at that record and remember, I've done hard things before, I can do this too. Third, don't chase perfection. What matters is commitment. Perfection is impossible, but consistency isn't. One imperfect day doesn't ruin the process, but quitting does. Let me clarify. When I say an imperfect day, I don't mean skipping your commitment. I mean doing it badly. If your goal is to run 5 kilometers but you only manage 3 because you're tired, that still counts. What matters is that you showed up. But if you didn't go because you didn't feel like it, that's quitting. There's a huge difference. Consistency is what matters. Perfection doesn't exist, but discipline does. And if you truly fail one day, if you break the chain, you must start over from day 1. That's the rule. Not from day 2, from day 1. Because the integrity of the challenge depends on continuity. Without that, it's just another half-hearted attempt. And you've had enough of those. Now, my friend, think about your future. Imagine you decide to commit to this. 100 days, no excuses, full consistency. Picture it vividly. It's April 2026. 100 days have passed since you started. You look in the mirror. What do you see? Not just physical change. You see confidence. You see someone who keeps their word. Someone who doesn't negotiate with themselves. Someone unbreakable. At the end of those 100 days, you'll be a completely different person. You'll look back and see how far you've come. Change doesn't happen overnight, but if you stay committed and steady, the result will be incredible. And not just in one area. This discipline will spill over into others. You'll eat better, sleep better, work better, because you'll have proven that you are someone who does what they say they'll do. But also, visualize the alternative. It's April 2026. You didn't take the challenge, or you started and quit on day 23. You're in the same place, the same problems, the same frustrations, the same sense of untapped potential. And now, one more regret. I could have done those 100 days. I should have tried. Greatness is not found in moments of inspiration, but in the gray days when you choose to act anyway. It's in that relentless repetition, in that unbreakable commitment, where you forge the character that will change your destiny. Every action you take today is a vote for the person you'll be tomorrow. Consistency isn't sacrifice, it's an investment, and you are your best bet. If you've made it this far, you're no longer just a spectator. You're someone who's ready for the battle. So tell me, are you prepared for the 100 days that will change your life? Write in the comments, I am Stoic. 100 days. No excuses. Reaching the end of this video is no accident. It means something in you wants to grow, and that already sets you apart from most. Subscribe and share this video with someone who needs it. That simple gesture helps us keep spreading this message of growth. On screen, you'll find a playlist to go even deeper. Click and let's keep learning together.